Yes, Rasikshakam.
Thank you, Shila Gurudev. So my question is that we see there is Vaidhi Bhakti and Raganuga Bhakti. So Vaidhi Bhakti can only lead us to a mood of Aishwarya. And also we know the definition of Raganuga Bhakti is to follow the Ragatmik. So the love which is in the heart of the Ragatmik. So my question is, was ever Raganuga Bhakti available with other destinations other than pure Vraja Prem, so destination in which there will be some Aishwarya? Will it still called Raganuga Bhakti or not? Because even there we see there are the eternal associates, so one can think one is following the mood of those eternal associates which are not in Vraja, which are not in Goloka Sthiti Vrindavan, so still there is some Aishwarya. Will it still be Raganuga Bhakti? And so that maybe could explain how it was possible that some sadhakas, for example, as I asked yesterday in Vishnu Swami Sampradaya, they were like Raganuga Bhakti was one of their aspects of their preaching, even though Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not appear yet, so only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can give Vraja Prema actually.
Только читание, может быть, только читание Махапрабху может дать Vraja Prema.
Jnanatimrandasya Jnanandana Chakshur Unvilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. This is a fascinating point. First of all, it is considered the Raganuga Bhakti to follow the residents of Vrindavan because they have rag. That is, rag means the Shuddha rag, no awareness of the Aishwarya of Sri Krishna. But if one will follow the rag, but he will outwardly perform the activities of Vaidhi, that means his rag is mixed. The Raganuga Bhakti is mixed with Vaidhi Bhakti. And then what destination will he get? Oh, in Madhurya Rasa, if one follows Madhurya Rasa on the path of rag, but he insists on practicing all the rules and regulations of Vaidhi Bhakti, then Rupa Goswami Pad said that person will become an associate of Krishna in Madhurya Rasa in Dwarka. Yeah. Because even though the queens of Dwarka, they have love for Krishna, but their love does not transgress the Maryada. It is within some, they have fear of the social etiquettes. So in the same way, if the devotee said, Shastra said you must worship like this, 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 and this, internally he wants to follow the Brijbasis, but outwardly he's following all the different prescriptions of Vaidhi Bhakti. Then because he will not transgress, he will not leave out any vidhi. So then his Ragamarg is not pure, it is mixed with Vaidhi, and he will attain a position of like a maidservant to a queen in Dwarka. So if there is a king or a prince and he has a wife, so he also has the conjugal relation with her maidservants also. So it's a relation with Krishna in Madhurya Rasa, but as a follower of one of the queens. That position is possible because Krishna has 16,108 queens. And if every sadhak who goes to Dwarka in Madhurya Rasa also becomes a queen, then it will be 16,109, 110, 111, you know. So the pastime couldn't go on. So one attains the position of being an assistant or maidservant to one of the queens in Dwarka. if he's following the Kamanuga Bhakti, not Sambandhanuga, but Kamanuga, but he's won't give up certain aspects of Vaidhi Bhakti. And so this is why we see that actually traditionally in the Nimbarka Sampradaya, originally the Ishtadev of the Nimbarka Sampradaya is Rukmini Dwarkadish. Originally. By the influence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there is each of the four sampradayas became, let us say, had a branch that branched off into a Brajarasic sampradaya. But originally in the Nimbarka line, the Ishtadev is Rukmini Dwarkadish. In Rudra Sampradaya, it is the Narsinghadev. And then later, due to the influence of Mahaprabhu, or we can also say a few generations before Mahaprabhu, some Madhavendra Puri and Ishvara Puripad, some focus towards Brajaras began to manifest. And so the Sri Sampradaya, the Vishnu Swami Sampradaya, whose Ishtadev is Narasinghadev, became focused on Krishna. And in that Rudra Sampradaya, you have Bilvamangal Thakur, and then at the time of Mahaprabhu, Vallabhacharya, Pushti Marg, here in Braja. So in the Nimbarka Sampradaya, so you have Sri Bhakta and Haridev Acharya, and of course Swami Haridas, and the line of in the Banki Bahari. So, yes, raise your hand if you have a question.
Hare Krishna, Prem Prayojan Prabhu. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Actually, I have a few questions, but they all are related. And my first question, based on Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.354, where Rupa Goswami said that, and after him, Srila Jiva Goswami and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in purport, that there are three types of offense. By the grave offense, your bhava will be destroyed. By the middle offense, your bhava will become bhava bas, and by the slight offense, your bhava will become an inferior type. So my question is, what does it mean, bhava become an inferior type? And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said, like from Madhurya, it becomes to Dasya. It goes to Dasya. So I just don't understand that. How, like, what does it mean? It was, if someone was developing like Manjari Bhav, then now he cannot do anymore. Now he only can be Das, or, and how is it forever, or how?
So, yes, there are different degrees of severity of offense. So if the offense is extremely severe, then he will lose his bhav has begun to appear and he will lose it. If it's not so severe, then his bhav may go into a lower mood. So let us say the person was in Madhurya Rasa. By making offense, he'll become confused. And after some time, then he will lose his focus on this, and he will lose his taste in this. And he will think, this is not who I am. I have the Dasa Abhiman. And he'll try to cultivate a mood in Das. But generally, the effects of aparad, they cause some suffering, but they wear off after some time. They're gone. For example, Srila Jiva Goswami Pad describes that if one is a devotee and he commits offenses, then he can become a demon even. Material desires will come and he can become a demon. Not only in that life, he may be a demon for several lives even. But because the Bhakti Lata Bij, the seed of devotion, is indestructible, he will suffer those offenses. And when the suffering of the offenses is over, then that Bhakti Lata Bij will manifest again. Understand? So the example is Gajendra. Previously Gajendra was Indrajumna Maharaj. But he committed an offense. He had progressed quite far. And but because of his offense, he fell down and he had to take the form of an elephant. In the form of an elephant, he was fighting with the crocodile for thousands of years in the heavenly planets. And by that suffering for a long, long time, then his aparad the results of the aparad were burnt. And then just at that moment, when his aparad was removed, then his bhakti from before became manifest. And when that bhakti from before became manifest, then he was realizing, just now I will die. And some people think that he took a lotus and offered to the Supreme Lord and said, save me. So then the Supreme Lord came and said, but this is not what happened. Because his aparad just wore off, and then that bhakti that he had before appeared. Because of that, and also because he was about to die. And when you're about to die, there is an increase of humility because the person is helpless. Dainya bhav. The dainya bhav, the feeling of humility, increases when you realize, oh, it's all over. Now, dainya bhav. Sri Dowdale Chaturvedi ki jai. Hare Krishna. Bring a chair for. Yes, Prabhu. Take a chair. Not there, by me. Okay. No? आप कैसे हैं? खुश हैं? खुश नहीं. So, when Dainya Bhav comes, it makes Uchchalita. That means the rising wave of bhakti. If there's some bhakti, but humility is added to the bhakti, then it becomes Uchchalit. It rises up like a wave. So, he had some bhakti from the previous life. It became covered by offense. He suffered. When the offense was gone, then his bhakti manifested. But because he was also about to die, then the Dainya Bhav caused the bhakti to rise up quickly, boosted it. So at that moment, he surrendered. He did not pray to the Lord, please save me. Only he prayed, oh my Lord, I am yours. I am your devotee. I surrender to you. He never asked to be saved because to demand that the Lord will save you is not surrender. When Durvasa Rishi, he sent the Kritya, the fiery demoness, to kill Ambarish Maharaj. Ambarish Maharaj just folded his hands. If Krishna wants to kill me, good. That just means to relocate me somewhere else. If Krishna doesn't want to kill me, then whatever he decides, it is fine. Maro bira kobi jo icha toha Krishna das prati tuayadika. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he has prayed, "Oh my Lord, you can kill me or you can save me as you like. You have the right. You have the adhikar because I am your das." This is surrender. So only like this he offered prayers and glorified the Lord. Oh, then the Supreme Lord appeared and he took the lotus flower to offer to him. So he did not say, "Save me," because pure bhakti appeared. But it was the pure bhakti that he had before, now intensified by the situation. So, the type of bhakti that you have, the type of bhakti lata bij, seed of devotion that you have, corresponds to the type of consciousness of the sadhu who gave you the bhakti lata bij, who gave you that seed of devotion. In Bhakti Sandarbha, it's described very clearly that when a soul associates with the sadhu, if a sadhu has a particular mood, then with whom we're associating with will also attain that mood. So that's Bhakti Lata Bij. Then that mood will grow. If it goes up to bhav, then it will be a bhav of the nature of that seed. So if that person will make offense, then it can go to bhav abhas, and it can go to a lower bhav. But because it's the result of offense and the seed of bhakti is indestructible, you should know the devotee will suffer. And when that suffering period, when the reaction of the offense wears off, then the nature of the devotion as it was before, it will come out. One thing is this, that generally speaking, those in the stage of bhav that don't make offense, that don't make offenses. Theoretically, we can say, okay, it could happen. But practically speaking, those in the stage of bhav, in the stage of nishta, a person is trinadapi sunichena, more humble than a blade of grass. That's the state of nishta. So why would the person, ruchi, asakti, bhav, make offense to someone? So we see that Chitraketu Maharaj, it looked as if he made an offense to Lord Shiva, so Parvati cursed him and he became a demon for one life. We see that even Subari Rishi made an offense to Garuda and he fell down and gave up his sadhan and married the 50 daughters of Mandata Maharaj. We see that Indrajumna Maharaj made offense, became an elephant. Gajendra. And then he was delivered. But our acharyas have given really very profound analysis of these occurrences. And they have concluded, for example, Chitraketu Maharaj, he was very advanced. He had bhav. But he was living the life in the heavenly planets with so many beautiful heavenly damsels flying in his aeroplane. And he had a very long life. But the Supreme Lord was feeling separation from him. Bhagavan could not wait for him to live this long life in the heavenly planets, even. So he arranged this situation where it seemed that he had made an offense and he was cursed and he became a demon, and then he was very quickly killed by Indra because the Lord wanted to bring him to his lotus feet quickly. Out of love. He was feeling separation. Chitraketu Maharaj should come to me very soon. So he made this situation. The same with Bharat Maharaj. Bharat Maharaj was doing his sadhana. But the Lord wanted him to progress very quickly. So he made him humble by creating this experience of becoming attached and then becoming a deer and then giving up that life. And then in the next life, he became perfect. So for those who are on the stage of bhav, generally they will not commit any offense. But sometimes the Supreme Lord will create a situation, create an attachment, create a fall down, create, let's say in Chitraketu Maharaj, it was not really aparad, it was aparad abhas. It was not really offense, but aparad abhas. And create a situation that looks negative, but that situation is to accelerate the progress of the devotee. To accelerate them. So they'll quickly come from the level of bhav to the level of prem. In the stage of bhav, there is still some obstacles. Utpanaratyā samyam narvigyam anupagata Krishna sakshat krito yoga sadakaha parikirtita. Rupa Goswami Pad said, the definition of the sadak, who is the ashraya lamban, who is vibhav, udipan, he is an ingredient, he is one of the rasa samagri. One of the ingredients of rasa, he is a vishaya lamban. The definition of, they can be, the vishaya lamban can be siddha or sadak. So the definition of the sadak means the one who has attained rati. Utpanaratyā samyam naravigyam, but he has not overcome all obstacles yet. Krishna sakshat krito yogya, he is qualified to have the darshan of Krishna. Sadaka parikirtita, but he has not overcome all obstacles yet. So sometimes to help the devotee overcome obstacles and go from the stage of bhav to prem, then Krishna himself will arrange some problem to come and accelerate them, and then they will attain prem and attain perfection. So these are some adjacent also examples which are connected to this question, adjacent to this question. So first we should know that the Bhakti Lata Bij, the seed that we get, corresponds to the type of association that we have. And it's indestructible. So even if a person makes offense, it just means it becomes covered over. And when the period of suffering is being completed, then its true nature will manifest again. Is it clear? Yes. Oh, I just want to welcome Swagatam, our very dearest spiritual brother, Pujapad Sri Daudayal Chaturvedi. Raghunath Das Goswami Pad said, Goro Goste Gostale Susujane Busuragane. Oh my dear mind, you have to have unprecedented love for Gurudev, for the Dham, for the eternal associates of the Lord, for the Vaishnavas of other Sampradayas, and for the Brahmins of Braja. So how will you enter into Raganuga Bhakti unless you have love for the Brahmins of Braja, like Daudayal Chaturvedi? Also Sujan means Vaishnavas of other Sampradaya. He is not only the Brahmin of Braja, Chaturvedi Brahmin of Mathura, they are the greatest. in the whole universe. My Gurudev used to say, the Chaturvedi Brahmins of Mathura, they are the best of the best. So, not only that, but also he is a Sampradayic Vaishnava. Yes, in the line of Swami Haridas also. So, we are very fortunate to have his association. But something more, when our Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu came to Braj Mandal, first he came to Mathura. And there in Mathura, he took bath at Vishram Ghat. And then on one side he sat down and was chanting Harinam. So that Ghat where Mahaprabhu was sitting and chanting is called Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ghat in Mathura. So various families of Chaturvedi Brahmanas, they are the guardians of different ghats. There are 24 important ghats along the Jamuna there in Mathura. So the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ghat has been taken, has been served, and is under the adhikari of one family for hundreds of years, since the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and that is our Prabhu's family. Yes. So he is the guardian and Sevite of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Ghat on the Jamuna in Mathura. So Daudiyal Chaturvedi is very dear to us Gaudiyas, not only him, but his father and grandfather and great-grandfather and great-great-grandfather for generations. Yeah. Another thing, you know that if anyone comes from anywhere in India and they go to a holy tirtha, then when they come to the holy tirtha, they have to find their tirtha purohit, the priest. Because in any holy tirtha, the Brahmins are there, the tirtha purohits, and they have connection with different gotras, with different lines, with different places, all over India. So if you have come from Kashmir, or if you have come from Gujarat, or you have come from Orissa, then when you go to the holy tirtha, then you find your tirtha purohit, whose service it is to take care of all the pilgrims from that place, or in that tradition, or in that sampradaya. So, anyone who is in the Madhva sampradaya, let's say they're coming from Udupi and they want to come to Braj Mandal, then they have to find their tirtha purohit. So, which family are the tirtha purohits for the Madhva sampradaya? Oh, the family of our Daudiyal Chaturvedi. For hundreds of years. Yes. That means that even before Mahaprabhu came to Braja, Madhavendra Puri came to Braj to do parikrama. And he first came to Mathura, and then the Tirtha Purohit, who has shown the Braj Mandal to Sri Madhavendra Puri. It is his ancestor. When the Tirtha Purohit is taking someone on the parikrama of Braja, then each person, they ask them to sign their book. And so all our pandas in Govardhan, in Nandagaon, and other places, I have seen, they have the signature of my Gurudev, Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj, Bhakti Siddhanta Sazari Thakur, Bhaktinod Thakur. This is our tradition. But these traditions today, in the advancement of Kali Yuga, they're being forgotten. But we aspire to be the servant of the Gaudiyas. And we will not give up the tradition of our Guru Varga and Parampara. So in every generation, we maintain the Prem Sambandha, loving relationship with our Tirtha Purohits. I believe actually Prabhuji, he has so many palm leaves, and among there is some writing of Madhavendra Puri also. So we are very fortunate because Raghunath Das Goswami has said this: if you want to enter into raganuga bhakti, you have to have intense love for Gurudev, for Braj, for the eternal associates of Radha Krishna and Mahaprabhu, for the Vaishnavas of other sampradayas and the Brahmins of the Dham. Someone may say, oh, why? Don't speculate. Follow Raghunath Das Goswami, then you can realize it. And you can feel the deep sambandha with Braj. Because really, Braj Mandal is transcendental. It is aprakrita. It is a chinmay dham. It is a chintamani bhumi kalpa vrikshamay ban. Charma chakshu dekli tara prapancherasam. All the trees are desire trees, all the dust is chintamani. But by material eyes, we think that this Braj Mandal is made of Panch Mahabhut, earth, water, fire, air, ether. But it is transcendental. When you come to Braj Mandal, how do you know that this transcendental Braj Mandal is accepting you? So when the Brahmins of the Dham, they accept you, it means Braj Mandal has accepted you. Yes, this is true. So we are most fortunate. Prabhu, you want to tell something? Yes.
Hindi. वंशीर विभूषित करा नवनीरदाभा पीतांबरात् अरुणबिंब फलाधरोष्ठा पूर्णेन्दु सुंदर मुखा अरविंद नेत्रा कृष्णात् परं किमपि तत्त्वमहं न जाने तृणादपि सुनीचेन तरोदपि सहिष्णुना अमानिनामानदेन कीर्तनीय सदा हरि हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण
Hare Krishna. See, Daudiyal Chaturvedi ki jai. Actually, we have about 100, 150 devotees have come from Jodhpur and they're just staying, they just arrived here in Anand Dham. So he's actually taking them on the Chaurasi Cross Braj Mandal Parikrama. He's leading. Very good. Hare Krishna. One thing, yesterday we heard some glorification of Shikshāṣṭakam. Was very inspiring. I also want to say just a few words. Why is Shikshashtakam called Shikshashtakam? So yesterday we heard from Sri Achyutalal Bhatta Goswami. What type of shiksha is there in each one of the verses of Shikshashtakam? Because it looks like vilap. It looks like the crying, the lamentation of Radharani herself. or of Mahaprabhu, sometimes in Bahirdasha, sometimes in Antardasha. Outer consciousness, sometimes in inner consciousness. So, but Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Gandhavakridai Sisi Radha Sham Sundar Juki. But there is, even though it looks like Vilap or Pralap, but still there's teaching there. There are three ways of giving a teaching. Veda, Purana, Kavyam cha, Prabhur Mitram Priyevacha. You can give a teaching like a master, Prabhu. And that is the teaching method of the Vedas. The Vedas give imperative commands. Uttishtata, Jagrata, Prapya Varam Nibodhata. Get up, wake up, attain the goal of life. Satyam Vada, speak the truth. Dharma Chara, follow your Dharma. So Vedas give imperative commands like a master. But the Puranas instruct you like a friend. So instead of saying, do this, they say, oh, let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, and then you hear the story and you think, oh, this person who made this mistake in the story, I'm also making that mistake. I should correct myself. Then, Prabhu Mitram Priyevacha. Then the third way to instruct someone is the Kanta Sammat Padavali. That means like a lover. So kavya or poetry does not give you an order. It does not tell you a story. But it's poetry. It's full of dhwani. It's full of suggestions. So just as a lover who is rasik speaks in such a way which is so pleasing to the heart and full of suggestions, and from this we can learn many things. So Shikshāṣṭakam is giving shiksha, it's giving instruction in this way. So Sri Achyutalal Bhatta Goswami was giving examples of this. I want to give another interpretation from Prabhupada Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur has raised this point that there are 6 Vedangas. What are the 6 Vedangas? Remember? 6 Vedangas. These are not the Vedas, but Vedangas. They are limbs of Vedic knowledge that you have to learn just to become qualified to study the Vedas. Yeah, so Vyakaranam, first you have to learn grammar. How can you read the Vedas if you don't know grammar? Vyakaranam, Chanda, you cannot chant the mantras if you don't know the meter of the mantras. Is it Anustup Chanda? Is it Gayatri Chanda? So, Vyakaranam, Chanda, Nirukti. Nirukti means etymology. That means being able to break down the word, find out what is the etymological root of the words. Understanding the words based on etymology. So that is Nirukti. Then, Kalpa. Kalpa means rituals. How to perform rituals. Because the mantras in the Vedas, but how do you use the mantras? At what point in the ritual? And Jyotish. Jyotish means astrology. Because if you're going to perform a Vedic ritual, you have to do it at the correct astrological time. And Shiksha. Shiksha. Shiksha means how to pronounce the mantras in such a way. Sorit, Anudata, Udata. There are intonations of the voice. The sound has to go to the higher pitch, the medium pitch, and the lower pitch. Sahasasi sa purusaha. So that is Shiksha. Shiksha means pronunciation. How to pronounce it to get the right effect. Because if you make the wrong intonation when you're pronouncing the mantra, even if you get the chanda correct, but you make the intonation wrong, then the meaning will change. So Shiksha means how to pronounce properly to get the right effect. This is Shiksha. So therefore, these verses of Mahaprabhu are called Śikṣāṣṭakam. How to pronounce the holy name to get the right effect. Understand? So, the fact of the matter is that in pronunciation, you have to know Ucharan Stan for Vedic mantras. Ucharan Stan means which part of the mouth is the Ucharan, the utterance going on. And the prayatna, the efforts. And all of these things are involved in doing ucharan, proper articulation of the mantras. But the problem with the holy name is this. Atashi Krishna Namadi Nabhavad Grayamindriya Sevan Mukhi Jivado Swayameva Spuratyada. The name, form, qualities and pastimes of Sri Krishna cannot be perceived by the senses. So then where is the Ucharan Stan? Where is the Prayatna? Where's the proper place to pronounce everything? Krishna is not going to be impressed by your tone, whether it is high, low or middle. And anyway, the material senses cannot even touch the holy name. Jiva Goswami in the Bhagavad Sandarbha, there he describes the characteristics of the Bhagavan in the form of his holy name. What is that? Van Manas Agochara. Van Manas Agochara. The holy name is beyond the vocal instrument. The power of speech. The holy name is beyond the power of speech and beyond the mind. So Van Manas Agochara. The holy name is Nikala Praman Parisched Agochara. It is inaccessible by all of the 10 types of investigation. There are 10 types of praman or evidence, such as perception and inference and shabda, even shabda, but there are different types of shabda. The Vedas are not, the truth is not accessible through the Vedas. Vedeshu durlabam adurlabam atma bhakto. So, why? Because Shabda is of 2 types. Shri Vishnu Namni Mantre Sakalakulusha He Shabda Samanya Buddhi. In the Padma Purana it says, if a person thinks that Krishna's name and Krishna mantra is Shabda Samanya, ordinary sound, then Yashasa Naraki. Yasa Narakisa, that person is like a resident of hell. He has a hellish mentality. So Shabda Samanya is material sound. Material sound is the gun, the subtle cause and quality of Akash, ether. So Akash and Shabda, they are the tamasic transformation of Ahankar. So the sound that your material tongue can produce is a tamasic transformation of Ahankar. Understand? From the pradhan comes sattvic Mahatattva, then Rajasic Sutra Tattva, then Tamasic Ahankar. Then from Ahankar, the slightly more sattvic portion makes Manas, the Rajasic portion makes Buddhi and Indriya, and then the Tamasic portion of the Ahankar makes the Shabda, Akash, Sparsha, and the Vayu, and like this. So the sense objects, the Tanmatras and the elements come from the tamasic transformation of Ahankar, which itself is a tamasic transformation of Mahatattva. So if you're thinking that that sound, that Shabda Samanya, which is a tamasic transformation of Ahankar, ego, and the Mahamantra is the same thing, then you're a resident of hell. If you think that the Mahamantra is accessible by your senses, then by implication you are thinking that the Mahamantra is Shabda Samanya. So then the problem comes, how can I do the Uchcharan? How can I utter the holy name? It's a big problem if you understand the metaphysical reality between Shabda Samanya, material sound, and the holy name is Shabda Brahma. It is Van Manas Agochara, beyond the voice, beyond the mind. It cannot be investigated by 10 different types of collecting evidence. It is Swata Siddha. It is eternally perfect and self-existent. It is Swayam Prakash, self-manifested. These are all the characteristics of Harinam, because it is Bhagavan himself. Then how you chant it? Then you'll need some teaching how to pronounce this Mahamantra. And so the teaching how to pronounce a Vedic mantra is called Shiksha. Among Vedangas, that is called Shiksha. But that Shiksha is for Vedic rituals. Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunya Bhavajana. Krishna said, hey Arjun, the Vedas deal with the 3 modes of nature, with karma kanda. Rise above this, the Vedic ritual. Go beyond duality. So though the Mahamantra is mentioned in the Kalishantar Upanishad, it is not the mantra of karma kanda. It is directly the Supreme Lord himself. So the Shiksha, which teaches us how to utter the Mahamantra, how to live and how to pray in such a way that Harinam Prabhu will descend and dance on our tongue. That Shiksha is not a Vedanga, just a partial Vedanga. It is the Purna Gyan, complete knowledge. That Shiksha is complete. It is not partial. Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nityamukto Abhinatvam Purna. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said, Taramadye Sarvashastra Nama Sankirtan Nirapala Prad Nam Lailait Pai Premadan. Of all the angas of bhakti, Sankirtan is best. If someone will chant without offense, they will attain Krishna Prem. Not only that, but Navavida Bhakti Purna Nama Hoite Hoy. All the 9 angas of bhakti are all complete just by Nam Sankirtan. So the Shiksha that teaches us how to utter the holy name is not actually a Vedanga, a partial Vedanga, but it is a complete Vedic knowledge. Therefore, Vidya Vadhu Jivanam, this Sankirtan, is the life and soul of all knowledge. Vidya means Savidya Tanmatiriyaya. In the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Vidya means how to be avesh, completely absorbed in consciousness of Sri Krishna. So this Sankirtan is the life and soul of that Vidya. It is Sri Krishna Sankirtan. Sri means Radharani. is the kirtan of Radha and Krishna. And in the Shikshāṣṭakam, step by step, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has told for everyone at every level of adhikar how to go through each stage of progress so that the holy name will come and dance on one's tongue along with rasa, prema rasa. And therefore it's called Shikshashtakam. Gaur Premanande.